about to go out for the evening. I'm going to go to the cinema. I'm going to go out for dinner. I'm going on a little self-date. But I'm also bringing a book with me, Celtic Breeze. And there's a reason I'm bringing this one with me. This is Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. I meant to read this in August. I genuinely really wanted to. But I only thought that it fit into the first prompt of the Amazing Readathon and then couldn't find a way to slot it in anywhere else. But now I have to. I am going to be joining an English language book club here in Berlin. I'm going to be joining them on Thursday. We're going to have dinner together and we're going to discuss Yellowface. So I need to have read this book latest Thursday afternoon so that I can actually join in. I'm just going to peel off the sticker so that I can actually join into the discussion. I've heard so many great things about this though. I've heard so many people who have lauded it and loved it and praised it. And I am genuinely excited for this book. I know so many people who've said this is probably their book of the year. Brie from For Pause in a Book has said that this is possibly her favourite book of the year so far. I know that Michelle from Michelle's Library is quite close to the same decision. It's quite short. It's shorter than I was expecting. It's only 319 pages. So I feel like I can very easily get that done by maybe Monday. Let's say by Monday. And let's see how I feel about it. But I will also take you with me on my little reading journey. I'll tell you what I think about it. And I will tell you what I thought about the book club and what it's like to do an English language book club in a country where English is not the main spoken language. It is now Sunday morning. I've had a shower. I am ready for the day, and by the day I mean I'm going to go out and sit on my balcony for pretty much the entire afternoon, and I'm going to read this, and I am spellbound by it. I am absolutely amazed by it. I understand now why so many people are so invested in it and obsessed with it, and I feel kind of angry at myself for sleeping on R.F. Kuang's books for so long. Even though I did have a kind of a good reason to. I don't read a whole lot of fantasy, I don't read a whole lot of dark academia, but I am definitely going to go back on it. This book is a pretty scathing, pretty damning look at the publishing industry and how a bestseller is almost kind of manufactured. They know when a book comes in, they know that it's going to absolutely set the world on fire. And the kind of jealousy that can come with other authors when your book is the bestseller and theirs is not. And the kind of one-upmanship that so many authors go through. I'm eating this book up whole. It is a triumph. It is phenomenal. I'm definitely going to have a lot to say about it when I get to the book club on Thursday. I'm definitely going to have a whole lot of thoughts to bring with me. But I am so excited to see what people are going to think about it as well. I'm so excited to see what other people's ideas of it are going to be. That's going to be my plan for the day. My plan for the day is head out onto the balcony, onto the hammock that I can see peeking in through my window. Me and Yellowface, maybe some snacks, maybe some drinks, and let's just get this book finished. Following one of the longest work weeks of my entire life, and it's only Wednesday, I've actually managed to get the book finished. I actually finished it on Monday night on my way home from a work event, and I'm still digesting it. I'm still blown away by it. There's already been so much said about this on the internet. There's already been so much that has been discussed. So I don't know if I need to bring my voice to this. I don't even know if I have anything new that could realistically be spoken about this book. But I loved so much the really sharp and harsh look at the publishing industry as a whole, about how a best-selling book is almost created the minute that the author first puts their words on paper, about how it's never just an accident that your book will become a bestseller. There's always some sort of campaign behind it. There's always some sort of push. Oh, there's Rye. I was watching Rye's come shopping with me. I'm so blown away by this book still. There's so much twist in it. There's so much self-hatred. There is so much to discuss. I think that tomorrow night's book club is genuinely going to be such a discussion. The club did already meet today. They've already met for one sitting. And I'm kind of annoyed that I couldn't make both, but I knew I needed to take a day off today. I knew that I had had such a hectic day Monday and yesterday evening. I needed to be at home tonight. I needed to not do anything. So tomorrow, my turn comes. Tomorrow, I'm going to sit with a group of people that I've never met before in the city, and we're going to talk about Yellowface, and I am beyond excited. I've actually given a friend of mine my copy. She's going on holiday in a couple of weeks,
and she was asking me if I had any good books to recommend to her, and I instantly said Yellowface. I know that it's one she's going to finish on a day. I know she's going to be done with it in a couple of hours while she's lying in the sun. It's that kind of book that you just don't want to put it down. You don't want to look away from it. It's a car crash. You don't want to look away from it. You know that it's just going to get worse. You know that feelings are going to get hurt. People are going to get hurt. You know that there's not really going to be a good outcome to this. But you can't not watch it. You can't look away for even a split second. I am still spellbound by it. I'm really excited to see what other people are going to pick up on that I didn't pick up on. What other people are going to want to say about it that I don't have to say about it. I'm also really interested to see if there's going to be people who are of Asian origin, who are of Asian descent, who might also be in the book club, and see if there's anything that they want to bring to the discussion, they want to bring to the table, literally, about this book. I'm so excited to go and sit with these people. By this time tomorrow, it'll all be all over. I'll be on my way home, and I will have an update for you as to how this book club went. It's not going to be my first ever in-person book club, so I will have some kind of experience with it, but it will be my first in Berlin. So I'm excited about that. Let's see how it goes.
I know, you can hear the fan. I'm very sorry. So, it's Friday morning. Last night book club happened, and it was a roaring success. I had such a great time. We had such a really interesting discussion as well about the book as a whole, about cancel culture, about the impacts of cancel culture on June, about how maybe it didn't impact her as much as we thought it would have, about the differences between cancel culture here in Europe rather than in the US, where it can be a lot more vitriolic. There were so many really interesting points. There were so many really interesting discussions. I think my only downside of it was that we were on quite a busy street. So there were a lot of cars passing by. There was a saxophonist that started playing for some bananas reason halfway through the club. So because I was sat at one end of the table, I didn't hear a lot of what was happening at another end of the table. But I'm definitely going to go back. We were a group of about 9 people with a lot of different backgrounds, with a lot of different reading tastes, with a lot of different interests in books. We all had some really great points to bring up. Some of us enjoyed the book. Some of us kind of gave it a mid. Some of us actually didn't enjoy the book at all. And I think that was the most interesting part, because it's really interesting to hear somebody talk critically about a book that you've really enjoyed. It's also really interesting to talk about some of them had read reviews and all of that before they started, and some of us didn't. Some of us just went in kind of completely blind. And it was really interesting to talk about the merits or the downsides of either side of that. Like I said, we were a lot of different kind of backgrounds. We were a lot of different reading tastes. So some people, this was a bit of a completely different road for them. For some people, this was very much familiar territory. For me, the next book, which is Demon Copperhead, I think that's what it's called, is going to be in that first category. It's going to be a completely different situation for me. I've never really read something along that line. I also took a look at the Scribd audiobook for it, and it's about 20 hours long. So I have a feeling this is going to be a pretty meaty book, and I'm really interested to see what that discussion is going to be like. But I had such a great time. Everybody had some really interesting points to talk about. We gave a load of book recommendations. I think there's going to be an email sent around later on with like some book recommendations that everybody brought out, or everybody's like social media if you want to keep in touch with one another, which I think would be a really nice idea. Some of us have decided we're going to go and check out one of the libraries in Berlin, which is going to be really interesting. I'm really glad that I went. I was a little bit nervous. I was a little bit apprehensive going into it, to be like, oh, I'm putting myself into a big kind of social circle. There might be already people who know each other. I might seem very confident, but there are times where I'm kind of very like held back and very don't feel integrated in the group. But there was never any issues with that. It was all just very like, there was a lot of flow of conversation the entire time. I had a great time. Suffice to say, I'm definitely going to go back, and I know that the woman who hosted last night has got a couple of other book clubs that she runs in the city. Some of them are on non-fiction, some of them are on personal and career growth. There's a lot of different ones that you can join, and she gave the idea of, if you want to join this, I'll give you the information. If you want to join this one, I'll give you the information. I am interested to see how the discussion of what book we're going to read next happens.
if that's something that the host decides, if that's something that the group kind of votes and focuses on together. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to go. This was actually the first ever meeting. It wasn't just my first time, it was everybody else's first time too. And I don't think that the core group that we had last night is going to be the same one for next month, because there was also a dinner sitting on Wednesday. So people from Wednesday might also be there for my group next time. There might be people from my group there as well. There might be completely new people who didn't join the first time. I'm excited about it. I'm really excited to have potentially found people in Berlin who also enjoy reading, who also just want to hit up a cafe at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday or a Sunday and just chill out with a book and a coffee and just get some reading done. I think that would be a really interesting thing to see if we could make like a small reading group come out of it even. But let's see. If you're ever considering joining a book club, I would absolutely recommend to do it. I had such a great time with this. I know that there can be some people who kind of struggle with social anxiety. There can be people who struggle with groups. There can be people who struggle with meeting new people in such a situation. But I feel like everyone else is going to be in the same boat as you. I feel like everybody else is going to have those same little kind of trepidations that you will have. So I wouldn't worry about it too much, feeling like you're going to stick out like the sore thumb or anything like that. I think if you have any kind of consideration as to joining a book club in your local area or online, I would absolutely recommend it. Have you been a part of any book clubs ever, and what is your favorite part about being in a book club? If you would like to leave me a comment but you can't think of anything you'd like to say, then just leave me a stack of books emoji. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I have new videos up every week. Now, get on out of here.